everyone. Your designers are here.
I'm Anita from Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly from My Soulful Home. And we have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you. So let's get started.
Well, we are ready to talk about Farmhouse Style today. It's episode 31. And I know we all love Farmhouse Style.
We do. We all have elements of it in our home, don't we?
We sure do.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that our styles are so different, and yet they all incorporate that farmhouse style.
You know, I think that the thing about Farmhouse Style, now obviously it's a modern version of elements that were in farmhouses. When you think of a true farmhouse, my father's parents were farmers and lived in Missouri, and their home did not have all these elements because it was a very utilitarian home. Pieces of it I'm going to talk about one thing today, but we have to remember that it is a style, but it's also a way of life, and I think it's an attitude as well. And it's a real living close to the land, enjoying the land type of attitude, and not all farmhouse style is the same. And here's the beauty about farmhouse style: it mixes so well with almost any other kind of style that
Very
you
true.
have.
Very
Yeah,
true.
that's really true. I love everything that you said about farmhouse style because it is so hot right now. It has been for a while, and we don't see it really going away, but maybe morphing and incorporating other styles. And I think maybe the genesis of the beauty of farmhouse style, I mean, we know some of the more famous designers that have brought it to the forefront and the attention, but why people are drawn to it, I think is maybe the comfort of home.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
a very embracing type of style. It's not standoffish. It welcomes your family home, visitors home. It involves a lot of comfort, a lot of things with patina that, are really sort of a little soft around the edges. And
Yeah,
to make
it's a
your home,
time-worn look.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I think
And
that
that's
with
cozy.
yeah, so cozy, and with all the technology and electronics and how busy everybody is, that this particular style, I don't think it's really it's not a coincidence that this is popular now when we're probably all the busiest we've ever been.
That's exactly right.
Right. And that's interesting you say that, because I mix it with high-end French antiques. So it's really a beautiful mix of these very kind of beautiful, ornate French antique pieces, but when you mix them with the farmhouse elements, it really gives it a totally different vibe. It makes it relaxed, it makes it feel comfortable, inviting, and it doesn't feel stuffy or over the top or just kind of like don't touch. It
right,
really
it's
brings it down.
approachable.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
we've talked
approachable.
about this before. It's that high-low.
Yes.
It's
Love the
that
high-low.
rustic luxe.
Refined and relaxed. Or
Yes,
burlap
and that
and bling.
is such
Oh, yeah.
a beautiful look. I know our house is we built our house 21 years ago, and we built it to look like a farmhouse in this area.
It's beautiful too.
Well, we just live in all around us is farmland, so certainly we were not going to build any other style, and it really does go with the way that we live, because farmhouse is really definitely a way of life.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
and-
get into... Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say my look is the farmhouse glam because we had to put a name on it. But that
beautiful.
That is what it
Beautiful.
is, and it's very akin to what Anita's got going on, because I do also have sort of they might not be necessarily very expensive because some of my stuff is from thrift stores and whatnot, but the
so are
gilded
mine.
It's
mirrors.
from those early morning after you've been partying all night when you were young, going to all of those flea markets and things.
That's right. And so I'm mixing the blingy high end or looking high end mirrors, gilded things with a beat up galvanized container that I'm putting my boxwoods in or something like that. So
love it.
I'm making farmhouse style my own in that way.
And I think you can do that. And see, I'm the same. I have very sort of classic furniture. and it mixes beautifully. It softens it, gives it a more welcoming look. It doesn't make it staid or stuffy. And so I think you can take all these different styles, and we're saying the same thing, that it makes things look charming, welcoming, worn, loved, and it just is a beautiful look.
And I like to think of some of the farmhouse items as being, I like to call them rusty, crusty, and chippy. So
I like that. That's perfect.
So
you're going to see those words on my blog. That's awesome.
That's right. So if it's rusty, crusty, and chippy, it's probably farmhouse style.
Oh,
but let's talk about some specific things that people can add to their homes to give them farmhouse style. So I'm going to start with breadboards. And, I'm going to say wood things like breadboards, dough bowls, wooden bowls, but these kind of things with a wood finish and kind of rustic. And the breadboards are so hot right now.
That they have a history. They look like they have a history.
Well, right. You can get the reproduction ones now, but the old ones were used, they're like 100 years old, some of these. But I know Patina Farm used them on her cover of her book, and I've been using them like crazy. And when I was at Round Top, they said they've been selling like hotcakes, which is no surprise to me. Once it gets out in blogland, things sell.
Yeah, I have the boards as well, and I think they really warm up my white kitchen a lot, and they're so useful.
Yes,
I like things that are functional.
A little bit of warm wood, absolutely.
Yeah, so just be careful if you get them, because my new ones I trust, but some of these old ones I don't know what's been on them, so I don't know that I would actually put food on directly on some of these. But just use some caution there.
Okay.
Beautiful.
What else? Yvonne, do you have one?
I do. We're going to talk about galvanized accents. And we're going to talk about not the shiny. We're not doing shiny. We're doing that dull galvanized patina that is so beautiful. Yeah. And you can get a lot of reproductions of really nice looking galvanized pieces that have an old look to them. One thing I love, and I don't know this is necessarily, it might be Italian or French farmhouse, but I love those olive baskets.
I was going to say the olive buckets.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Well, I think those are mostly from Italy, but there's a lot of, the real ones are beautiful, the vintage ones, but I've seen some much less expensive, new, more shiny ones at the store. The reproduction.
You know what? I have a post about
I was just going to say, Yvonne, don't you have a post?
Yes, how to dull that down and give it a real...
perfect.
Yes, and a real old look. But galvanized accents are just white hot.
Yeah, and I think they have everything is galvanized now.
I know,
honestly,
and
if
they
you
look
stand
so
still, someone will
pretty.
galvanize you. No, it's great, and so you can get it, really at a really reasonable price point too. And the thing about galvanized things is, if it's cheap, it doesn't look like it's cheap. It just looks galvanized, and you
beautiful.
I mean, the real deal is going to have dings and nicks and maybe a paint chip and all of that, which would be hard to recreate. But just a right off the factory floor galvanized reproduction looks pretty darn good.
They're beautiful, and I like to use galvanized trays. And they just give, and you can do that like I do with my classic, with my, neutral colored sofa, and it looks just fine. They look really beautiful. They look real warm. And here's another thing, because I can sit my stuff outside, I just sit sometimes my galvanized things outside. I have an olive bucket that wasn't really expensive that sat out all winter, and it looks pretty cool right now.
Right. Probably better with age and elements.
I don't pay for those reproduction rust finishes. I just set them out at the farm, out in the rain.
And make your own rust.
That's right.
DIY
the real thing. That's right. That stuff's real, baby.
My rust is real. And how about as something a little bit more structural, if you're willing to take a little time or pay someone to do it, you could add some beadboard or some shiplap to a room as an accent wall, or as sort of, just the half wall and do with the chair rail. That's such a great look, and really can transfer, especially if you're living in a home that doesn't have a lot of special moldings or something like that. That can go a long way to adding some character.
And I found some painted beadboard. I think I'd mentioned it in our salvage episode for the porch ceiling in our house. So you can buy it already, in the salvage yard as well, or the new.
And I have a couple posts. My husband, we've put accents of shiplap on some walls, but we have a really easy way to do it. So I'll put that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, and she said we, even though she's quality control.
Well, when I say we, what do I mean, girls?
Your quality
Bobby.
control.
Yeah,
Bobby did it.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, we had an old farmhouse on our farm when we bought it that we sold the house. And that's what you do in Texas out in the country. You sell the house and just have it moved off your property. You don't sell your property. But it had real shiplap, the original stuff. But I'm going to tell you, it was full of nail and tack holes. So, that's the problem with the real old stuff. And I remember telling my realtor that I was going to paint it, and she said, "You can't do that." Well, anyway, we ended up selling it. But, now people are getting the memo that you can paint it. So
shiplap is such a warm look.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and it's so inexpensive. And, it's just planks horizontal. So, go for it.
So inexpensive. Yeah.
We did the wall behind my vintage stove is the shiplap, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a beautiful look.
Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
Let's talk about baskets.
Ooh,
because
yes.
that's one of my favorite ways to add farmhouse style to a room. And the beauty of it is you can use them for storage too. And when I say basket, I'm thinking more about a square or rectangular shaped baskets rather than the round ones, and typically the kind with the lids that close. I have some very large ones that are trunk size that I use at the foot of our beds for
Yes,
storing
I've seen those. They're beautiful.
bedding.
So
But
you're talking more like almost picnic basket style or like a
Right,
wicker trunk or luggage shape.
Well, right. I mean, yes.
This is for Anita's style, though.
Right.
Well, but picnic basket size. I have some old Fortnum and Mason baskets that are, picnic baskets. So, yeah, something like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you have any with the straps on them? I love that.
Yes, I do.
Ew, I love that.
Yes.
I do too.
Yes,
I actually have a laundry basket, an old, true antique that has leather straps.
Oh, and then laundry baskets too, because I've got the French laundry baskets, and those don't have the lids, but they're rectangular shaped, and they have the handles on both sides, and those are beautiful. On top of I use them on top of armoires.
Don't you love to think of all the hands that touch those basket handles?
I do.
I love
and what
that.
they did,
Me too.
and
Yeah, how their day
busy
was
they
going.
were.
I hope they were all happy while they were doing their
Oh,
laundry.
I'm sure they were doing all that
I'm
laundry.
sure they were. Well, they have to be. In your
By hand.
fantasy farmhouse.
And she rolls her eyes.
Yeah.
Thrilled. They're like,
You didn't.
if
You
I
didn't
could
see
only do.
I could hear
more
your eye
laundry.
rolling. We didn't see it. We could hear it. I want to talk about the next thing is mason jars.
Oh, yes, of course.
And they're quintessential.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
when I was growing up and I was really little and we'd visit my father's family in Missouri, they wouldn't have mason jars per se. They'd have jelly jars.
Oh, yeah.
And they aren't, and I mean, they weren't the decorative kind that you used to get, like, decades like my grandmother got. They were plain because they used them over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
But mason jars have been around forever, and I use them. I do put up jellies and fruits and things like that, and I just got a pressure cooker that does like vegetables and puts up vegetables and things like that. It's a little more techy this past summer.
Well, see, and we use ours for smoothies, so the big ones.
Yes, but you can drink out of them. You can use them to put flowers in. You can arrange things in them. You can use them for granola to give as gifts, and you can put food in them, which I love. If I can stick
Oh, I was going to say that. I think in Blogland, you do that all the time.
Yeah, she
I
does.
do. One of
Everything's
my
so
favorite
pretty in
things
it.
is to do chili with the cornbread topping in a mason
yum.
jar.
Well, and when I had a big party at our farm and we put a big table outside, I mean, what did I do for glasses? I bought a
Mason
big
jars,
stack
yeah.
of mason jars, of course.
So pretty and so stylish. Now, let me just ask you, when I think of eating like, I don't know, chili or something out of a mason jar, like, do you need a really long fork? Or do you do a smaller mason jar and regular forks? What do you do?
Well, you start at the top, and to eat chili, we use a spoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a soup spoon. So that's what we use, which is a little bit bigger. But while we're talking about mason jars, you've got to talk about like those bottle stands.
You have to talk about them.
Yes, the dryers.
Yeah.
And I love to put my mason jars on top of on each of those little spikes.
Yes, those are beautiful, and they have those at Round Top too. They were used to dry the old wine bottles, and
that's right.
The original ones, the real vintage ones, are often 3 feet tall. They're huge.
But
that would
now
be perfect
they make
for me.
Great other. They would.
I'm not drying mine.
Are you going to dry your wine bottle?
I don't wash and dry them. I didn't think about that.
She just recycles them.
No, I'm more of a riddling rack girl. I like it, the wine when there's stuff in it, and the bottle when there's stuff in it.
But those bottle drying racks are amazing. Now they're smaller. You can hang your cups on them, or like I do.
Reproduction, right.
That's exactly what we do. Is we use them to dry the mason jars after we're done using them.
Oh, great idea.
Again, functional. Functional
Very
farmhouse
utilitarian.
style.
That's one of my favorite words.
Okay, how about enamelware? I love enamelware. And I think that's really farmhousey. And there are reproductions out there, but the real deal is pretty reasonable. And you could definitely tell with enamelware,
Because
unlike galvanized.
they're usually chipped.
Yeah,
Well, the thing-
new enamelware looks like new enamelware.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, if you're going to eat outdoors, we have a set that we use kind of out by the creek because, once we carry it out there, it's been knocking around and, you don't want
Sure.
something to break. So, I mean, it's great for picnics and outdoor parties and so forth. So,
And
I
better
love the
than
new-
paper. That's right.
Yeah, but it's also, but like you were saying, you can get old vintage enamelware pitchers and all kinds of things, not just the plates.
Oh yeah, I love the coffee
Mugs.
cans. The coffee makers.
Oh,
They're
yes,
so
yes,
beautiful.
yes.
Yeah, and Etsy is a great resource for
and
those.
pots and pans and things. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother, before Rachel Ray had her garbage bowl, my grandmother had an enamel garbage bowl. And I have one just like it. And I've used that for decades. When I'm cooking, I'll bring down, it's a yellow enamel bowl, and I use it to throw all my garbage in. It makes it so much easier to cook. So Rachel probably got that from, maybe her grandmother. Who knows?
Or your grandmother.
Or mine, Nanny. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, another element of farmhouse style is ironstone dishes, which we think of as being white, but you can get them in other colors as well. But the white is so beautiful to display, just a whole set of them. And once you have when you have a large collection of them, the white just looks so fresh and clean and beautiful and not overwhelming.
Oh, I love ironstone, and I don't have a huge collection of it, but I do have a good many pieces, and I mix that with my other just everyday white things that I collect as well.
I think that's perfect.
I'm not too much of an ironstone snob.
No, I mean, I have the very old vintage platters, but a lot of my other things that I have it with in my cabinets are new things that I just bought very cheaply, like a very cheap white soup tureen that I bought at the thrift store for $15, and then it'll be next to these beautiful vintage, all scratched up old platters.
Sure. And do you notice that all the things that we're talking about add such warmth? As we speak of them, I can just feel how cozy and warm and beautiful they are in a very simple way.
I think that defines the farmhouse style.
It does. It does. My next thing I want to talk about isn't a real thing, but it's more that you can have in your home, but it's that fork to table gardening. And that is so defines farmhouse style. And this is something we do. We have a big raised bed garden in our backyard, and we also have a potting bench with lots of, we have a half of a whiskey barrel that I have a lot of my herbs in, and I actually have an herb garden out too in my vegetable garden. But just you can grow vegetables and herbs in pots, so you don't need a lot of land. But it's that attitude that you go out and, I love to go out and just pick my herbs and bring them in, and I do put them in a mason jar, and I have them as I cook. It's just such a lovely way to live, I think.
I just want to let you know, I just planted some rosemary and basil. So,
whoa!
I know y'all are so surprised.
Let's say a prayer, Yvonne.
Rosemary's tough.
Rosemary
and basil is too, as long as it is not too cold. And
good luck, basil.
I love that.
Maybe you should make a caprese salad tonight.
And also, you can grow lettuce in a big wide. If you have a planter or a container, tender lettuces, they grow wonderfully. It's just that beautiful, sustained gardening and things that.
I found from that lettuce too, because I did used to grow things like that, vegetables, and if you let
another lifetime.
All righty, smarty. It's if you leave it too long, it gets bitter. So that's one of the things I remember.
It does. That's why you have to, you don't plant it all at one time, and you plant a little bit, and you pick it when it's very tender. But I mean, I've had where I've planted 26 varieties of tomatoes one time.
Oh my goodness!
I know, when I was very young, and we would bring literally bushels full, and because we planted them, I thought, oh no, I've got to put them up, and I would be up till 2:00 in the morning. The smell of tomatoes never left my house. And then just one day, in August, and it's humid, 98 degrees, humid, I'm dripping wet, I'm thinking in my nice air-conditioned kitchen looking out onto my garden, I don't think I'm going to do that today. So I'm in doing, because I just was so tired. I'm in doing things, and my little birdie voice of my daughter says, "Mommy, look what we did!" And they took my son and she took the wagon out and just filled with tomatoes. It was like, oh no, but it was so sweet. So you do live and learn, and now if we have overages, now you can give to a food pantry.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
that's a great idea.
I have a great recipe, and it calls for, I think, 2 heads of garlic and a ton of olive oil and fresh tomatoes, and it's divine.
Oh, put that on the show notes.
Yes.
And I have a post about how to grow garlic.
That can be farmhouse enough. Okay, who's next?
Well, I think it's the whole, just to touch on what you said, Yvonne, it's the whole connection with the land thing. And I think that is also what we mentioned in the beginning, why farmhouse
or
style.
Or you can fake it, even if you don't have it. It's just the idea the objects are in.
Well, yeah, but I think that's why the look is so popular. I think people want to be doing that, whether it's a one tomato plant in a pot, and it makes you feel like you're a little connected. And I think the whole idea of the farmhouse style, as you mentioned, is like sort of a lifestyle and an attitude.
It is.
Not just
and I think
decor
there's
pieces.
A romance of the idea of having a place out in the country, although not everybody wants to do that, but so they just want to take pieces of that and put that in their city house.
Anita, you are so right, because loving something and loving the idea of something is so different.
Right.
I love the idea of having chickens. I would love to raise chickens, but doing it, I don't, no.
Well, my friends here in the city have some chickens, but don't tell anybody, they're not supposed to have them.
We won't say a word.
No one's going to hear yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no, only the billion people that listen to this podcast will now know.
But what you can love something and love the idea of it and put a little bit of that into your home. Have like one of those really cool porcelain egg crates that you can stick all the pretty brown eggs in.
Yeah, there you go.
Good enough.
Right.
Sure.
Or make friends with Anita's neighbor. Get your eggs from them. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Reclaimed wood is a great thing to add to your home, too. And you can do that in pieces of furniture. You can do that in the flooring if you need to replace your flooring or you want to replace your flooring. Just something that has some age to it. And again, the element of the wood, especially if you have a lot of white in your home, is absolutely beautiful. And
you need that. You need that.
Yeah,
if you
it's
have
a
lot of
fresh
white.
farmhouse look.
Yeah.
You
What
do.
about, what we didn't touch on is something with a chippy paint finish.
Oh,
But we do love our chippy paint.
Well,
do.
that's part of that rusty, crusty chippy. I mean, you need something with chippy paint on it. So it might be a salvage piece of a corbel, or just something from an old house, or it could be a piece of furniture. It could be an antique, or it could be something that you
paint yourself.
That's right, that you painted with a faux finish.
Yeah, so I think the whole idea of the farmhouse style is that incorporate it, if you love it, incorporate it to the extent that you can, and mix it in with other items in your home and other styles. I mean, I know Yvonne has, lucite tables, and
I
she's
do.
very, very firmly entrenched in farmhouse. I mean, my house, I was happy when I did the research about it to find out that it's actually a folk Victorian, a Queen Anne folk Victorian, and I love that idea because folk Victorian farmhouse. And so when I did the research about it, I thought, well, yeah, I really I love the farmhouse look, and it feels authentic here, but it can be authentic in any kind of environment. Just don't go overboard. Don't make it like it's a farmhouse store.
No, it's a little overload. That would be overload.
Well, and I think also I think of this new farmhouse look. It's not quite the same as the old country look, from several decades ago.
Right.
It's much more updated. So,
And Anita, if you like farmhouse style, you can get a magazine now called American Farmhouse Style.
Yes, and guess who's in it right now? It's our Yvonne. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, I am. I'm in the spring summer issue. I did a table setting, and they so sweetly put me in. And Anita, you were
I didn't
in
even
it
know that.
before
I'm
me.
so excited.
That's right. That's right. And so it's a great magazine. I love it, and I'm so excited you're in it. So please go out and get a copy of it.
Likewise. But you can find this on your newsstand, or we'll put a link to it also. And it shows you the various and different styles of American farmhouse living, which is I just think is so wonderful. There's other things like a farmhouse sink and aprons and tablecloths and having a clothesline and quilts. There's so many other things that say farmhouse. Well, girls, we're running out of time. I wish we had more time to discuss farmhouse style and all of its different machinations, but we just want our listeners to remember we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy, and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.